Hey guys, Much Adventure here. Today I want to do a different little video. I want to do a whole bunch of space news. So what I've done is I've got a whole bunch of articles ready to go to. I'm going to talk you through them. We're going to chat about them. And it's all just different kind of space news, facts, videos. And this will be the last one, as you see, of why is Jupiter so terrifying. We have that coming up. I have an Indian space rocket launch. We have some Artemis news. I also have a lot of cool James Webb Space Telescope new science coming in, and also some interesting facts and cool stuff about Mars, its water, and where it went. So stick around, guys. You can use the bottom, use the little thing there. I have used chapters on my video, so if you like what you see, just hover to that chapter, watch it. Otherwise, sit back, grab yourself a tea, and let's do this. First thing I found was actually near me in Ontario, Canada. There was a meteorite that crashed into Earth. So, which I guess would make it a meteorite, right? I think it's a meteor. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it a meteor if it's still flying around in space? And a meteorite is what lands? I don't know. But anyways, this is very cool. Here's somebody's, I found this on Reddit. Somebody had a, I guess a ring cam or whatever recording of that. So let's check that out right now. Yeah, no sound, but look at that. That would freak me out. It looks like it's like 3 in the morning. I'm so sad I missed this because I probably would have saw it. Look at that. Lighting up the sky. That's just so cool. So cool. Yeah, so that was this was in Georgetown, Ontario, which is like, I guess like a bit outside of Toronto, Ontario. Toronto, Ontario, as we say. Here's another cool view of it. This guy lives in Toronto, so that's awesome. This is an awesome photo. I love that. I don't know. This must be some type of like security cam or something. Like, it looks like a very wide angle, but either way, I love it. That's amazing. On that note of this meteorite, let's check this out. This is also cool. So the Niagara, which is Niagara Falls, if you're not familiar, is kind of Niagara Falls, Buffalo, Niagara Falls, Canada, same thing. Same area, I should say. So Niagara residents are asked to be on the lookout for fallen meteorite, which landed somewhere in southern Ontario. I find this very interesting. Look, there's that picture. Oh, this guy was in Brantford. Okay. Derek Bowen. Awesome picture. With his GoPro. It's like he was capturing 30-second shots all night and got this shot. Oh, that's very cool. I don't know why he was recording, but maybe he knew it was coming. Awesome. So they want you to be on the lookout. Oh, here's another video. Let's check this one out. They want you to be on the lookout. This is a different guy's ring cam. Look at that. Can you see that here? Let me make this bigger. Look at that. It's insane. Honestly, that's insane. If I saw that, that would be amazing. So they are looking for people. Yeah, so Dr. Kim Tate, curator of mineralogy at the Royal Ontario Museum, which I've been to. Amazing place if you haven't been there. Awesome. Yeah. They're looking for you to, I don't know. If I found it, honestly, if I found a meteorite and I knew it was a meteorite, it would be hard to give it up. I'm not going to lie. It would be hard to be like, okay, here you go, guys. Just take it away from me. I don't want this for my, I don't want this as a collection. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I would be guilted from the lack of science that I'm doing with it. I mean, it would be like a paperweight for me. It would be like like, look, here's my meteorite. Whereas actual smart people, not named myself, they could go in there and actually pull data and stuff. So, I personally, what about you guys? I would be guilted into it. I would be guilted into giving up my little meteorite that I found. And see, this is interesting. This is where it could be. Wow. They're thinking around here. So that means, it probably went into the water, which is unfortunate. But what are you going to do? Anyways, I just thought that was a fun little story. I mean, space is coming to us, guys. We don't have to go to space. Space will come to us. Okay, moving on. The historic, I think this is the Indian Space, I forget what ISRO is. Let me just Google that real quick. I think it's the Indian Space Research Organization. Okay, that's what it is. I knew it was Indian. So, the Indian Space Rocket, what did we say it was? Anyways, they're launching their very first private rocket. This happened a couple days ago, but let's check this out. This is really cool. I mean, it's just so cool that like all these countries now are getting on board with doing private, not just like government funded space stuff, but like private stuff. So let's check this one out.
1, 0. Event number 96
Oh
completed.
my god. Oh, that's loud.
And we have a successful liftoff of
That's
the
awesome.
rocket. I think I should be able to show
This
you.
is and I watched this. It's a spin. It's a spin stabilized rocket. So that means they stabilize its trajectory or its motion by spinning it. So not the best footage. Not the best footage. Wait, let's get that. Yeah, I should get that big, guys. Watch that again. Sorry. Get it a little bit better here. This will restart, or if I just destroyed it. Okay, here we go. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome stuff.
The launch and the spin stabilized rocket.
It's a little queasy inducing to watch the footage. But amazingly good stuff. I love to see more private space companies and industries get involved in this. It's just awesome for me. I love this comment too on Reddit. I love this. This guy's so right. That spin gives me flashbacks to my early KSP days, Kerbal Space Program. 100% agree. I 100% agree. We've made a lot of those. Guys. Check out those videos also if you want. I have a lot of Kerbal Space Program. I think I have a playlist. If you guys are into that, check that out. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the next. Our next item is Mars was once covered by 300-meter deep oceans. Study has shown. That is pretty cool. 300-meter deep oceans. Now, how did they find this out? Let's read this real quick. So most researchers agree there's been water on Mars, but how much has been debated? A study from the University of Copenhagen shows 4.5 billion years ago there was enough water for the entire planet to be covered in a 300-meter deep ocean. The entire planet. Wow. At this time, Mars was bombarded with asteroids filled with ice. Interesting. I've always wondered, I mean, side note, I've always wondered what would happen to Earth if it just got hit by a massive meteor that was just ice. That was just pure ice. Like, would we, the water would just like stay on the planet? Like, could that, flood the planet? Who the hell knows? And here we go. This is kind of cool. Another interesting angle is the asteroids also carried, I'm going to make this bigger for you guys. The asteroids also carried organic molecules, biologically important for life. That is very cool. Used in DNA. Ooh, look, amino acids. Yeah, amino acids. It's always the amino acids, which are the building blocks of life. So very interesting. So there was a lot of water on Mars, and it has amino acids. I mean, hello, life on Mars, people. A billion-year-old meteorite. That's insane. I mean, people get so, this meteorite's a billion years. I mean, how old is the Earth? Like zillion, bazillion years? Just kidding. I know that there's an answer to that. I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. 300. I think I read so. Okay, coming up later, there's definitely something that we have that I've prepared, I believe, for the reason that all the water came off of Mars. Is that in this article? Let's find out. Anyways, we'll get to that later. Next story is, let's find out, the onboard video of the Artemis 1 liftoff. Yes, as you guys know, the Artemis 1 lifted off, I want to say last week. Is it 2 weeks ago now? I'm just flies, guys. This is really cool. This is an onboard camera, and it's so high res. Like, I just love this. Look at this. Look at how much light it just gives off. It's insane. The amount of smoke coming from it. I mean, look at the amount. Look at that. It's just crazy. Truly amazing though. Very cool footage. The fact that it's so high res. And there it goes. Into the moon. Look at that. Amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, see, this guy says the same thing, right? It's amazing how much light it casts onto the ground. He was in Orlando when it launched. It looked like the sun was coming through the clouds. A lot of those videos, if you've seen, it does look like a sunrise is happening. Very cool. I'm super excited about the Artemis missions. I think they're so awesome. I'm really looking forward to, obviously, the manned missions. But, everything because of this Artemis is happening. I mean, all these different private space companies now are all getting in on this. Super exciting. To be a lover of space, for sure. And on that note, our next news item is the White House's Biden has been saying, I guess they formalized a plan to colonize the moon. So they formalized this plan. Putting the humans on the moon is more political than you might think. Well, personally, I thought, of course, it's political. At this point, everyone is clawing to get a little piece of this moon, and they all want. It's gonna get wild. It's honestly gonna get wild. I mean, Space Wars maybe, but it's gonna get crazy. It's like James Bond, Moonraker. It's gonna be Moonraker stuff happening. So the Orion obviously took a trip around the moon, as this says. Now let me read into this. I want to say that the Biden's administration. Let's see here. They basically want, let's see, development, cooperating with other countries, building communications plan. We know all that. Advancing science, fielded moon zone. Let's see here. This is what I want to get to right here. It's very clear that this is not just about the research and the science, which they're saying, I guess, we want to live on the moon forever. The White House wants a permanent outpost on the moon. And then it's saying here, it's clear it's not about the research and the science, but it's also going to be about the economic prospects from the moon. Which, as I explained in my last video, it's definitely economically funded. I mean, without the economic portion to moon exploration, there is no moon exploration. There's no benefit to the current society in the way that it's set up, in the way that we live now. There's no benefit, so it's not going to get done, unfortunately. You'd like to see people just exploring for the sake of science and whatever, but we know that's not the case. So let's see here. Should the U.S. succeed in its goals, the moon could eventually look quite different. More satellites, lunar GPS, which we know, all this stuff. So this is kind of cool. No plans for a lunar city, but there's proposals for a permanent outpost on the south pole of the moon where crews might spend 6-month rotations. China and Russia are also doing a lunar outpost too. This is super cool, guys. I think this. So they want to, do lunar nuclear power plants. I love saying that. It's incredible. Moon internet. I mean, come on, Elon Musk. He's all about that, obviously. This is very cool. Now, this guy, Mariba Jha, the co-founder and chief scientist of Privateer Space, he says the U.S. is very far from achieving this. But, I mean, you know what? It depends how much resources are thrown, because wasn't the Apollo project, like, they went from not even going into orbit to literally landing on the moon in I don't even know how long, like 10 years, like 12 years, like something crazy, right? Wait a minute. The lunar surface is already littered with items that astronauts have left behind, including golf balls and 100 bags of poop. Okay. We got to clean that up, guys. Come on. Very interesting. I mean, this is super interesting. So the White House plans on having a full-time colony on the moon. Very cool times that we live in, guys. Okay, next up is our good old pal, the James Webb Space Telescope. It's fully operational again. And here's a really cool picture that it took of Saturn's moon Titan, which is awesome. Yeah, so here we go. So the problem occurred when the mid-infrared instrument experienced increased friction in one of its wheels. So something happened to the James Webb Space Telescope. They ended up fixing it, operational. They got this really cool picture of, let's get a better, here. Really cool. Very interesting how it looks. And then this guy's saying, Michael Raddick saying, comparison, here's what Titan looked like during the Cassini mission using the VIMS instrument in similar color stream. Very interesting. The James Webb Space Telescope, it's just wild, I tell you. I tell you what, guys, it's wild. Yeah, and it was also, I know that it was hit by meteorites. One micrometeorite, I want to say, and they called it a freak accident and still working better than they intended, but they also say that those meteorites are not going to be coming back. They think it's like a freak thing and like they'll never experience it again, but... And next up we have the James Webb Space Telescope again, the farthest galaxy candidate yet known. The farthest away galaxy yet known has been discovered by the James Webb Space Telescope. And I guess these are the images from it. So 2 regions of the galaxy cluster, Able 2744, the gravity which magnifies the light from extremely distant galaxies. Very cool. So let's see here. The first 2 of these reports have undergone the mandatory peer review. Let's see. Yeah, this is really cool. From a theoretical point of view, the observed masses are quite puzzling. This is where it gets awesome. The reason was not that the explored universe had grown in size. Okay, next up we have the James Webb Space Telescope. Again, the farthest galaxy candidate yet known has been discovered by the James Webb Space Telescope. This is very cool. So basically, this is challenging science of what we currently know with what we know about galaxies and stuff. So and how they're formed. So let's read into this right here. I believe it is down here. They naturally... Okay, so the reason... Observation challenge theories. Okay. The reason was not only that the explored universe had grown in size. What is more intriguing is that the galaxies seemingly are hosting many more stars than we thought would be possible. So that means there's more stars inside of these galaxies than scientists theoretically have thought. Indeed, the very fundamentals of our understanding of how massive structures build up over time is challenged. The cosmological standard model. So basically throwing everything out of proportion, or out of whack, I guess. And here's a scientist, Charlotte Mason. From a theoretical point of view, the observed masses are quite puzzling. We'd expect that we would have to search a much, much larger volume of space before finding such big galaxies. Very cool. The average galaxy simply shouldn't have had time to build up so much mass in such a short time between the Big Bang and where we are, or at what time we see them. Because as we know, looking and observing galaxies, we're actually looking into the past because the light has not reached us yet for thousands, I don't even know how far back, millions of years. Very cool. So what they have found down here, they have found out. Okay, although galaxies' large masses are difficult to reconcile with our current understanding of structure formation, doesn't mean that we need to revise the standard model. So that means that this could be an outlier. We know very little about the physical conditions of the early universe. Throughout most of the history of the universe, galaxies are surprisingly inefficient at forming stars. Very interesting. Perhaps some yet unknown mechanism enabled early galaxies to form stars faster or form brighter stars. See, this is the kind of stuff I love about space science, okay? So the James Webb Space Telescope, basically, let me sum this up. The James Webb Space Telescope looked at a galaxy super far back, and scientists said, wait a minute, this galaxy has formed way too fast, and there's way too much matter and stuff in this galaxy for it to exist as we currently understand the universe currently. But then this is where it gets awesome. Perhaps some yet unknown mechanism enabled early galaxies to form stars faster or form brighter stars. So there could be this entire new mechanism, entire new physics, something happened, some crazy incident or whatever, and we have no idea that exists. That's amazing. To me, it's amazing. To me, it's one of two things. It's either that there's something crazy that we don't know about, or everything we know now is currently wrong, which I tend to lean on to that, is that everything we know now is probably wrong. If you look at the way science works, that's just the way science works, right? We get better and better and better, and when we look back in the past, we're like, wow, how did we get that so wrong? But it's a process, right? So either way, this is very interesting. I think the James Webb Space Telescope is just going to start blowing people's minds. It already is, obviously, but it's just going to start blowing, I guess, scientists' minds, right? And these theories out of the place. It's just very interesting. I love it. Okay, moving on. We now have NASA's Webb. James Webb Space Telescope again. NASA's Webb reveals an exoplanet atmosphere as never seen before. This is what I'm talking about, guys. The James Webb Space Telescope literally just pumping out crazy science that we've never seen before. So let's take a look at this. Let me have a little tea. Have a tea break, guys, because this is pretty wild. It's gonna get crazy. Have a little tea. Okay. So, let's see here. So we are looking at, now what planet is this? I forget which planet. It's a exoplanet. An exoplanet basically means a planet that is not in our solar system, but in another solar system. So a bunch of other space telescopes have revealed isolated ingredients of broiling planets. Broiling like an old hamburger place that used to get to on the side of the road. You know, get that broiled burger. Sometimes a little bit burnt. When you're a kid, you didn't really like that burnt flavor, but the burger itself is pretty damn good. That's kind of what this planet's like. The new readings provide a full menu of atoms, molecules, which is so cool. Like the way, you know, basically this telescope looks at this thing in a certain light conditions and it figures out what type of elements are there. So this is in the is this in the TRAPPIST-1 system? Yeah. So the TRAPPIST-1 system is basically like our most known exoplanet system. So what did they find, guys? What did they find? Here we go. This is the first time we see concrete evidence of photochemistry, chemical reactions initiated by energetic stellar light, or on exoplanets. Okay. So, explaining the origin of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere. Okay, so I see this is really promising outlook for advancing our understanding of the atmosphere. So this is like, basically, I think that they're finding this chemistry. They're finding that these chemical reactions are happening on the planets, like for real, and then I think that's what this is saying, guys. Planets are sculpted and transformed by orbiting within the radiation bath of the host star, right? On Earth, those transformations allow life to thrive, right? Exactly. So photochemistry, I mean, I guess it's saying like they're noticing that the sun, that this planet's star is reacting to chemicals on the planet and causing changes on it. And just like that's happening on Earth, only on Earth, the chemical changes from the sun is life. We don't know what are on these other planets, but to know, I guess, that this is happening, you know, opens it up to possibilities of life, I want to say. Very cool. We're going to be able to see the big picture of exoplanet atmosphere, says Laura Flagg. This is so cool. It is incredibly exciting to know that everything is going to be rewritten. Right? You know what I'm saying? This is one of the best parts of being a scientist. That's exactly what I was just saying, guys. Exactly. Very cool. You gotta love the James Webb Space Telescope. My God. My God. It gets hit by an asteroid like 5 minutes after they put it in space, and she's still going. Still going strong. Okay, next up, we got a cool little video to watch. This is the Orion spacecraft. So that is what flew from, let's see here, guys. The Orion is from the Artemis. Let's see. This is a very cool photo. Right? Here's the spacecraft. Here's the moon. Look at, I mean, this is insane. And there's the shot of them coming around the moon. And there goes the Earth. Goodbye. Look at that. Let's watch that one more time. So cool. Just, it's insane to think what's actually, like, oh my God, dude. It's insane to think what's actually happening. Right? Orion signal loss. And I think this is what they were working on, is that the Orion lost ended up losing signal as it traveled behind the moon. And they need to figure out a way to stop that from happening. Which, you know, if you're a Kerbal Space Program guy, you know, you just send a million satellites all over the place, and you get the entire solar system under your control with a nice little network. You know, that's step one. But also, I have unlimited money in Kerbal Space Program, and I also send many Kerbals off to die. May God rest their souls. Okay, next up we have. This is a cool, another little planet thing. Surprise finding at Artic vent site could help in the search for extraterrestrial life. This is very cool. New research shows the remote place on Earth has submarine activity. Now, when I first read that, I was like, "What do you mean, like submarines, like like World War II, like nuclear submarines, like whatever?" No, this is what they call, you know, marine activity that's lower in the ocean, I guess. Submarine activity akin to that on Saturn's icy moon Enceladus. Enceladus. How do you say that? Enceladus. The finding offers a new opportunity that can help scientists prepare for future space missions. It'll explore the possibility of life on worlds with subsurface oceans. Which, that is a very cool thing. So what did they find? So they discovered the hydrothermal vent it was underneath permanent ice cover. It's one of the deepest hydrothermal fields on Earth. Interesting. So it's pristine. Very interesting. So this is an important aspect for life to begin in the depths of ice-trapped oceans. It makes sense because okay, here we go. The single biggest part of what we may discovered in it is a vent site beneath an ice-covered ocean. That's also a great place to study organic synthesis relevant to ocean life. Search for life beyond Earth. So I think they're just saying that, like, you know, these vents are on Earth, right? These like thermal vents, right? That like pump hot chemicals and whatever into the ocean and probably heats it up a little bit. And they've basically figured out, like, this is the origins of life on Earth came from these bad boys. So if a similar process plays out on certain icy moons like Saturn's Enceladus, you know, that could be like, maybe life can work out on Saturn. So very cool stuff. So here you go. Despite the scalding temperatures, like, this is like what does live on those vents. Regions around the vents thought to be one of the places where early microbial life on Earth materialized. Yeti crabs, giant tube worms, and deep sea mussels. Right? Have you ever seen these things, guys? Like vents, like deep hydrothermal vents. This stuff is crazy. Especially, like, right? So could you imagine, like, these things exist on one of Saturn's moons underneath the ocean? Right? And here's all, like, the weird life that grows from it, right? Like, I think scientists figured out, like, there's this type of, like, weird worm that lives in these holes. Let's type worm. And it's, like, it lives at, like, the most insanely hot temperature ever. Yeah, these guys, right? Giant tube worms. Like, they live in these crazy vents. It's wild. Really wild. And they eat by collecting, I don't know. Freaky, but you know what I mean? That could be, at this point, I don't understand how there's not life literally probably within our own solar system. Just going to throw that out there. Guys. Okay, have a little tea before we go to the next one. Dun, 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 dun. This one's more, welcome to my space capitalism section of the talk here. This is where it gets ridiculous. The coming moon economy. So, like, this is kind of like, as I explained before, at least on my personal thoughts, is without economic reasons to travel to the moon, like getting minerals, getting whatever, setting up communication, all that jazz, exploration, you know, way farther down the line. Without the economic stuff, it's not happening. So this is kind of like the future, right? This is a cool article. It's just explaining the future of what's coming, right? It's insane. So, and this is kind of true. As the global economic growth, right, we're going into a recession. The moon exploration could become a source of ignition for new ventures and jobs. There's already so many jobs are springing up, right? I already showed you that Indian space rocket company, right? There's so many, right? China's launching a whole bunch of private companies. Everybody's launching private space companies, and it's like, this could be one of the new ventures, right? The successful launch of Artemis 1 is opening the door, of course, backed by all that money, right? NASA plans to send people to the lunar surface by 2025. That's when I believe that's Artemis 3. So Artemis 3 is going to have people on it. That's 2025. And they're going to live there permanently, which is going to be pretty wild, which I think this is why they're looking at really getting private companies involved, because a lot of people think, like that article we read earlier where it was like the guy doesn't believe that NASA and whoever can pull this off. I think with the help of the world's private companies, I think they can. 781 million in private investments. It's kind of funny because you know, this seems like a big number, right? But at the end of the day, it's not at all. It's like, at the end of the day, with what the government spends, I mean, we're talking, what did that, you know, I don't know if you guys are follow cryptocurrency scene, but that whole FTX, like, how much did that guy lose? FTX losses. Let's just say FTX losses, right? How much did this guy lose? Let's see here. I know it's more than this. At least, okay, well, let's just go with this one right here. All right, I know it's more than this, but at least $1 billion of client funds are missing. Some guy, you know, created this crypto exchange. He lost over $1 billion of people's money, okay? And we're over here talking about going to the dang moon. You know, let me get on my soapbox here. We're over here talking about getting on the dang moon. $781 million dang dollars in private event. I mean, this is crazy to think about. It's actually insane. It's such a little amount of money. Anyways, this is why I think there's a lot of money out there that needs to be directed better. Maybe to my education on the English language. We'll start with that. Okay, so the lunar economy is in its very early stages. Yes. So what to watch for? Okay, let's just take a look at this. Competition among countries, right? Yes. Data needs, communication and data, yep. And defense rank among the top reasons for early government spending. I totally get that. It's kind of like the Apollo situation. Like if between Russia and the United States, like it's if you're not there, if you're not the first, then it doesn't matter where you are. And if you're not the first, if you are the first, maybe you can help set policies better in your favor, right? So there's a whole space race is back on, guys. And this is incredible because, I'm tired of watching these dang videos from the 60s talking about the space race and looking at everybody getting so excited about going to the moon, going to space. Meanwhile, we're just sitting here doing nothing. Now we're going to space. I'm all in. This is incredible. Okay, next story. Let's have a tea. This is awesome. This one's awesome. This is just a little photo, but this guy, I don't know, how do you say that? Duven Mans. He took 600,000 photos of Mars. 600,000 photos of Mars in -6 Celsius weather. Okay, that's fine. Makes him think he's one of us Canadian folks, or whatever. You got this amazing picture of Mars. Okay, let's look at this time lapse. We'll watch this 100 times. Look at this is so it blows my mind. I don't have a great telescope. I have I have a nice pair of binoculars. I have a tripod that they can go on so I can get like cool, I was looking at stars and stuff like that. Trying to look at planets, but I just the idea that you can go into your backyard will never cease to blow my mind. The idea that you can go into your backyard and literally, focus in on Mars, get something that looks like this, and this is just you doing it yourself, and you can see features and gullies and canyons, and you can see the pole up here with the snow-covered pole. I mean, come on. It blows my mind. It honestly blows my mind that this exists. Like, this is what makes space so cool. It's literally accessible to like normal people on Earth, right? And it's like, if you don't see this picture and love it and think this is incredible, I mean, do you even like space? Do you even like space? It's incredible. I think it's amazing. Amazing job, Dweven Mans. You are awesome. Right, this guy is amazing for a time lapse. Definitely froze my ass off. Feed her to the end of the session. Definitely worth it, dude. It's incredible. Good job, dude. Good job, because that is incredible. I love it. Okay. Oh, this is what I was going to talk about earlier when we were talking about Mars, right? This was my other half of my Mars talk. So we know how, we had that Mars. What was it? 4.5 billion years ago, Mars had like 300-meter deep oceans. Well, where did all that water go? Martian dust storms parched the planet by driving water into space. Orbiters spy potential ongoing planetary death spiral. This is very interesting. So, Martian dust storms are common, but every decade, a monstrous one goes global, veiling the planet, completely covering it. So 2 years ago, Mars was completely veiled by this dust storm. Look at that. Look at that picture. That not insane? I mean, first of all, the fact that we can get pictures like this of a planet, of Mars is insane. But look at that. Look at that dust storm. So there's global massive dust storms, okay? And we just read this, that water flowed billions of years ago. We definitely just read that. And now here it is. So what happened to all that water? So most of it must have somehow escaped to space, yet researchers thought water vapor could not travel high into the frigid thin atmosphere without condensing into snow and falling back into surface. They didn't think that. But then what they're finding out is that churning dust storms may, in effect, pump water into space. These escape processes are an effective way to make Mars dry. So it's pretty wild. If you look into this article, Let's see here. The only plausible source for hydrogen was water. Yeah, so they observed that there's a lot of loss here. How the dust-driven destruction operated on Mars is anyone's guess, so they don't know how it happened. Could be recent or could have been key to drying out the planet billions of years ago. They do not know, which I find fascinating that they don't know how long ago. Like, what if it's like 10,000 years ago, Mars was like, you know, maybe, I guess obviously they know more than that, but what if it had like water and whatever not that long ago? They don't know. Maybe you fall off a cliff and get this seasonal and dust-driven loss. The ads could be... Oh, what Maven is witnessing now could be the end of the planetary death spiral. Oh, it's stopping. Here we go. Researchers believe the planet once had a protective magnetic field that failed early in its history, allowing the solar wind to penetrate deeper into the atmosphere. Where global dust storms. Yeah, I remember playing these games, right? When you play, what is it, Universe Simulator, you can actually, if you remove the magnetic shield, you remove shielding, you will see the solar wind blow off matter and water especially. And then also, if you spin the planet faster, you'll see that, right? If you give the planet a spin, it's kind of like, I mean, if you think about taking a sponge and whipping it around, right? All the water will kind of come out. Kind of like that too. On that game, that is. Yeah, so anyways, very cool. So, you know, we might be on the verge of finding out what the heck happened to Mars. It would be nice to know what happened to Venus also. Here we go, guys. This is very cool. Let's check this out. Is that this? This is amazing. And it terrifies me. I don't know what it is. I do not know. Okay, guys. I do not know what it is about Jupiter that absolutely terrifies me to my core. Like, we're talking like a deep-seated fear and terror brought on by the planet Jupiter. I picture it in my mind. It's scary. Every video game, every movie, it's scary. Okay. This I think this was a while ago. Oh, this is 1 month ago. I'm not sure how long. Let's just say this is a month ago. I don't know if it was longer than that, but this is a Jupiter flyby from Juno, the Juno spacecraft. And it's fascinating to watch this. Let's just watch. It's fascinating, guys. This is real. This is real. This is not like 3D animation, whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is like actually Jupiter. And this is scary. Let's just watch in awe. It goes so close. And then it starts pulling back. It's just, the size of like what we're witnessing, like it's hard to fathom the size of what we're witnessing. When it went close and it covered the entire camera. I mean, we're looking at a gargantuan monster beast. Look at this thing. Look at the colors that they figured it out on it. I mean, you always thought Jupiter was this beautiful looking planet. It's terrifying. I mean, it is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's terrifying. It scares me. And now here's something also cool. Okay? Let's do that. I was like looking into this. Okay, there's like Jupiter. Watch, fear of Jupiter. Fear of Jupiter is a thing. Did you guys know this? Wait a minute. It's actually. I didn't know that. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I did not know there was this existed. I found a Reddit article on it, but what? It was named in the 1600s. You're telling me people have been afraid of Jupiter since the 1600s? What? Jupiter is the 5th planet. Okay. Muxiophobia? Oh my goodness. When we first discovered it, some people are disturbed by the way the tempest moves. What does that even mean? Jupiter's gravity. Wait, why? Why are people afraid? It just says, but it doesn't say why people are afraid of it. It's a phenomenon. Bizarre. Okay, let's go here. Yeah, look at this. There's the muxiophobia. Who knew muxiophobia was a thing, okay? Not me until I realized I'm terrified of Jupiter, and then I looked into it. Look at it. These are amazing. These photos are amazing, but they're terrifying. This is so bizarre to me that this is a thing. I don't know why. Why? Right? Why is this a thing, guys? Why is Jupiter terrifying? It has to do with the size. I think it has to do with like the radiation behind it. I think it has to do with like its destructive, forces on the planet. Look at that, right? Jupiter's effing terrifying, this guy says. Jupiter's effing terrifying. It's just everybody's afraid. Everybody's afraid. Jack Handy, what? Whether they ever find life there or not, I think Jupiter should be considered an enemy planet. You know what I love about Jupiter, like in the myths, I guess, of Jupiter, is that, isn't it both like, it's both like a protector, but also like this harsh like monster killer. Like, and when you think about it in real life, like Jupiter has probably collected so many foreign objects, so many asteroids, so many things have probably flown by and got either sucked into Jupiter or sent off a path due to Jupiter. Saving Earth, essentially, right? Saving the planet Earth. It's like a big net that just catches a bunch of garbage. It's like a big garbage filter in our solar system. So it's like, without Jupiter, would we really be where we are? I don't know. With Jupiter, is it also terrifying? Yes. Because it can also, like, I don't know, guys. Are you guys, tell me, what are we? We're like 40 minutes into this video. I mean, tell me, guys, if you're still watching it at this point, are you guys terrified of Jupiter? I mean, let me know. Let me know. Is this a thing? Let me know. That's it. That's all I got for you guys this day. Hopefully you guys like this. Hopefully you guys like this format. Let me know what you think about this format for space news. I'm planning on doing a video a week of doing space news, going through the different videos, different cool facts I find, talking about it. Maybe eventually turning this into a bit of a live stream, because I think that could kind of be cool, and get, if you guys are into that, we can chat about it and whatever, and have like, a little conversation going back and forth. I think that would be cool stuff, guys. I think it'll be a neat video to have. And anyways, look for this next week. We're going to be doing the same kind of a thing, space news. Let's get into some Kerbal news next week too. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you had a great time here, leave me a comment of if you're terrified of Jupiter as I am, for whatever reason, and explain. If you are terrified of Jupiter, please explain to me why you're terrified of Jupiter. I need to know. I need to know if this is just me. Obviously, it's not, but I want to know. Anyways, yeah, give this video a like, subscribe if you guys want to, if you want to catch the next one. And other than that, have a great day. And, just keep looking to the stars, guys.